Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is September 20th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see the atmospheric river that is lined up for British Columbia. Look at this monster. This is going to be bringing a bunch of precipitation into western BC, and at times will be bringing clouds down across the region, but we're not expecting much precipitation across Washington and Oregon. We'll take a look at those details, and then we have some potential for some rainfall as we go on in through next week. We'll take a look at that as well. But if you look closely here on the mid-level water vapor loop, you can see the lenticular cloud activity that's been going on since yesterday. There was a really spectacular one down by Mount Hood right at sunrise this morning. I'm hoping that somebody got an image of that, send it to me, or post it on social media. I may search around a bit for that to see if somebody got it. But I'll probably go out there and hunt for some lenticular clouds as we go through this afternoon today as well. So anyway, let's dive into the forecast. Frost potential this week in Spokane, a National Weather Service. Look at this. There's actually a freeze watch for Colville and Republic out here, and a frost watch here across some of the Idaho Panhandle and western Montana. Actually, that's just for western Montana here, but it is that time of year where some of these overnight lows can start to get chilly, so heads up for that. Looking at Seattle yesterday, 68 degrees. That's 3 degrees below average. It's kind of strange, though. I'm just off to the west, and I think I got to 72 yesterday, so it must have been a little bit more affected by those clouds. 82 is only the record high. That's not a very substantial record high for this time of year. Back in 1999, you can see surrounding days, including September 22nd, the record high was 92. So yeah, interesting stuff, kind of low hanging fruit, but we are not able to get anywhere near that. And right now we're at 0.39, and we do have a chance at some precipitation here, but it's not looking like a lot. We'll go over that in some detail in a moment. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station, you can see everybody out here with one of these stations. Look at the Oregon coast, some of the Washington coast is getting nicely covered. But as you see, as you zoom in, we need all the help we can get out there. These stations actually talk to each other as well. They are smart weather stations here. So if you want to get one of those, click on the link down below to save 10% off. You can see the wind updating as I speak here. The app is great on your phone, and the desktop app, you can see the UV index starting to come on here. You can graph the temperature and the pressure and everything, and it's got a lightning detection system with it as well. Highly recommend that station. So let's take a wider view of things here. This is Alaska, and you can see British Columbia is here. There's Washington and Oregon, upper level low that is impacting California today. I put this into motion, and as we go on in towards Sunday morning, you can really see the atmospheric river on into Sunday night into Monday morning really get ramped up here, but it will be impacting even a little bit earlier as we go through this weekend. The rain will start falling here pretty quickly, and that atmospheric river will bring some big amounts into western BC. But then we got this trough dropping down the coastline, and this could start to try to bring some precipitation chances across the region as we go through midweek. But this system is splitting and weakening, dropping south off the California coastline. But then the Gulf of Alaska troughing, you notice right at the end of last night's European run, is quite active as well. So will any of this get down into Washington or Oregon? Those are good questions. Let's check it out. First of all, let's take a look at the precipitable water anomaly, and you can clearly see the atmospheric river just burrowing into western British Columbia here. And then we start to build a ridge, and another system takes aim at British Columbia also. And then we have another one yet on the heels of that towards the end of the run. So we'll see what this troughing does. The models are no doubt going to be changing at this point. So we'll watch that and break it down day by day. But let's look at total precipitation in inches on the European ensemble mean as of last night. It's going to go out 144 hours. Ignore that stuff right there across Washington. What we're looking at here is the atmospheric river potential does clip some portions of Vancouver Island and mainly areas north of Vancouver here as we go through Sunday night. Look at some of these amounts, up over 4 inches. Big time atmospheric river into British Columbia, and then we go on into about Wednesday morning, and you can see not much for Washington or Oregon here. The high end dry, strong precipitation gradient between Vancouver, BC and areas further north. So that's just kind of a sign of what can come as we go on into the fall and the winter months, but this one should largely miss Seattle and Portland, for example. Now, if we take a look at the daily 2-meter max temperatures, we see Seattle and Portland on here. You can see the interior of British Columbia is still warming up quite nicely this time of year. Then we go through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Check it out. As that ridge builds here a little bit, we could be warming up again as we go through the midweek period. Look at this, some 90s or some upper 80s returning for the Willamette Valley, maybe some upper 70s for western Washington, some 80s present into eastern Washington and Oregon is here as well. Then we go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, start to cool back down a little bit there, but take that with a grain of salt. We're looking way off into the extended. So So if we take a look at the actual European model here as of last night, this is raw data. Look at Portland as we go on into Tuesday and Wednesday, warming back up above the 80-degree mark, maybe even above the 85-degree mark there. So yeah, we are not done with some of these summer-like temperatures for at least some of the region here just quite yet. And this is Seattle. I mean, look at that, September 25th, 80 degrees. So it'll be a nice little warm up here, maybe a summer's last gasp as we go towards the end of September. This is Spokane, still warm, east of the Cascades here as well. And this is Spokane on the GFS. We were looking at the European. So you can kind of see, you can still remain pretty warm here at this time of year. Even as we go through early October, this is the GFS for Seattle-Tacoma. Again, Tuesday, fairly warm here. Nice little warm up, and then maybe a cool back down after that. GFS for Portland only has one day above 80 degrees, but we'll watch that as we go in the next couple of days as well. Now here we're looking at the GFS. We're looking at 850 millibars, or 5,000 feet. So as we're going through here, this is the atmospheric river. You can see it is fairly warm and it's moist, as I showed you with the precipitable water map. And then we scroll on in here and we start to build this ridging there. It may start to warm us up a bit here as we go on in through the early portion of next week. And then we've got the active Gulf of Alaska troughing here. But again, this system may start to split. We'll see how that goes. This GFS run is running hot off the presses right now. In fact, let me update this, but I bet we have more information. Let's go to hour 132 where we were, and you can see the Gulf of Alaska troughing may try to bring somewhat of a system here and a marine push as we go on into the mid portion of next week. We'll check that out, because you can see there's some big model disagreements between the GFS and the European as we look this far out. So we'll revisit that again tomorrow, but it is fall. We're going through that transition period, and these systems are likely not far away. So if you want to really get into the weeds here and looking out into extended forecast, this is Seattle-Tacoma International Airport on the European. This model runs out over 1,000 hours, and it runs every day now. And there's 101 ensemble members here. I think it's actually 100 plus the control run. But you can see as we go out towards the early portion of November, it's kind of interesting just looking at these individual ensemble members. Pretty good agreement, and this makes sense, right? We're headed on in towards October and eventually early November. The rainfall is going to be picking up, no doubt. And you can see the control run has about 8 inches for Seattle by the time you get towards the beginning of November. Of course, this is purely just a fantasy forecast for entertainment purposes, but it also does give a lesson that we are headed into the fall months. And once we get to October and November, things start to get rainier here across the Pacific Northwest. And then you can also look at the same model run here. And if we look far enough out, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 ensemble members have a little bit of snowfall for SeaTac. Purely entertainment there, but it's just kind of interesting to see that 4 out of the 100 ensembles did show a tiny bit of snowfall for SeaTac as we went through early November. Just entertainment only. And this is also something where you can kind of learn a lesson on maybe last gasp warmth as the end of the month here comes around. You can see that what we were talking about this last ridge here, and then maybe a warm period here as we go through early October. You can never rule that out as well, but you can see the gradual decline in temperatures as we move towards the beginning of November, which of course, if you've lived there for any length of time, makes complete sense. And this is the 6-hour min temperature there as well. So you can kind of see that same pattern existing with our overnight lows. And if you look at the extreme members of the European ensemble run here, you can see some of them have some pretty chilly temperatures, and that's no doubt the ensemble members that held some snowfall with it. But again, it's very unlikely to get snowfall in the early portion of November for much of the lowlands of western Washington. Now looking at the 6 to 10 day, look at this below average signal here with us through September 29th. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, much of the west, actually the entire lower 48 here. I can't find one spot with near normal temperatures forecast. So yeah, pretty interesting there. We also still have fire danger out there. Like I showed you, the temperatures can still be a bit toasty east of the mountains. These slopes here, we can still get some gusty winds. We still can get some fires at this time of year. But, the big stuff is usually gone by now. And we've had, a lot of these fires extinguished across, or at least dramatically reduced across the east slopes of the Cascades. So the big fire season is no doubt, out of our hair for, unless something really dramatic comes along here. But, and you can only see there is some moderate risk out there for some of the east slopes as well. And if you guys want to help support the channel, these moisture wicking t-shirts are great. The premium hoodies are really nice as well. I wear these t-shirts all the time. And yeah, they've held up quite nicely. And the men's premium hoodie that I own, I've had about 2 years now, and it is a very good quality item. So yeah, if you want to help support the channel, go ahead and click on that down below. It should be just below the video there. So anyway, yeah, atmospheric river coming here. We'll see what that ridge is going to do. Then we'll watch that Gulf of Alaska troughing to see if any systems are going to get spawned our way into the Pacific Northwest as we go on in through next week. So anyway, I may go out chasing today and try to get some of this lenticular cloud activity. It doesn't take much to kick one off across Rainier, and we should start to clear up across some of the Cascades at the lower levels as we go through this afternoon. So I'll probably head out there and try to get some photography going. But yeah, anyway, we'll break this all down again tomorrow. Hope you guys are having a good day, and I will talk to you guys then.